Okay, we're live now. Watch your mouth, Ian. Huh.
You lit liquor?
What is that from?
That Orbit commercial?
That's. So, shift tactics 7. That's what this class is. Before we do shift tactics 7, I want to show something else real quick. On our intranet, you guys know about the training calendar? Yes.
I signed up.
And on the intranet, there is a way for us to gauge, who's coming and keep track of who is attending what trainings. You'll see here, seller pricing strategy right there. This event has passed. One place was taken. View attendees. Kenzie Ross! Yeah! You know what that means?
What do I get?
Kenzie Ross wins a beautiful Labs t-shirt. Okay.
That's not purple. Nice.
This is not a Bold Labs one. This is a Labs one.
See?
Limited edition.
Right? Actually, I don't think they're making those anymore. Yeah. Yes.
What do you know about that?
Does Gary Keller sign stuff?
Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie.
I would.
You should start signing up for the
If you want a different size.
I think I like it.
You like that size?
I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be great.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, encouraging everybody to sign up for classes on our tracker. You know what I could add? I could add Nikki for her.
And then I get a t-shirt? What?
No.
Sweet.
No t-shirt for you. No t-shirt for you. Okay, so back to shift 7. Back to shift 7. Also, I don't want to spend too much time on the training tracker, but what the training tracker allows us to do is know how many people are coming, which allows us to print material for the class, so that we're not printing 10 and have 5 show up and whatnot. Sorry, Ian. You got your laptop out though. You can look at it. Nikki, because you didn't register, you got the so-so version, the staple on that sticking through.
Oh, you put it right.
That's the reprint. I was going to throw it away, then I thought, no, I'll give it to somebody. I don't want you getting hurt.
Someone who failed.
Somebody who didn't deserve a non-lethal package.
At least you're here.
At least you're here. Thank you for being here. So what I'm going to go over today is step 7 in shift. Now, if you're out there on the internet watching, the way you find these is by going to MyKW Education. And you see down here the whole shift series. Materials. And you can download all of the materials, all the PDF. Everybody has access to these. Also the slideshow, if you want the slideshow. Okay, so have any of you three read the book yet? Shift?
No.
No? Shift is a good book to read even if you're not in a shift, because what it covers are a lot of good basic practices. Most of the book is. The shift part is when we amp it up because we need to. But if you're Nikki, you're amped up all the time.
Apparently.
Red Bull coffee. Okay. Seller pricing strategies. Pricing your listing to sell. The main ideas today are going to be perspectives on pricing strategies. We're going to study the market or talk about studying the market. Approaching sellers, getting the price right, managing your listings on the market. When the market shifts towards the buyer's market, the listings sit. They do. Days on market goes up. Are we cool there?
Amanda said on her way.
Espinoza?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Only the properties in good condition will sell. Price can take care of condition, but you can't have a bad price and then just keep making the condition better and better and better. People don't go for that. Think of a Mercedes S-Class. It's worth a lot of money. If it's in bad condition, it's worth less money. But then take a Ford Escort, and you put the best paint job on it, you did leather, you tore out the dash, you put in a new dash that has nav and heated seats. You're still not getting any more money for it. It's a Ford Escort, for God's sake. So price can take care of condition, but condition can't take care of price.
Is this only in a buyer's market, seller's market? Is it different?
Well, so these things are true all the time.
Okay.
In a shifting market, they become even more true.
Okay.
Everything, and that's why the book Shift is a good book to read, even if we're not in a shifting market, because everything in here is true in a seller's market. But they become more true, and you need to really focus on them in a shifting buyer's market. Okay, your role in a buyer's market. When houses sell in a matter of days, agents are undervalued. By the way, this says but now, so this assumes a shift. We're in a shift. But now customers need you for pricing strategies, market knowledge, buyers, fiduciary commitment, knowledge of financing options, and your negotiating skills. In a good market, thank you, Nikki. In a good market, it's easy to be a rock star. It's easy to be an awesome agent. You're like, yeah, we'll get it on the market, we'll get photos, and we'll sell it. That's not always true in a shifting market. Shift happens. Maximize your effectiveness as a consultant. Get ready, study your market, get set, and go. Nikki, you've been licensed since when?
We started in March.
Of this year. Okay. Ian, you've had 3 years? 4?
December will be 4.
Okay. Have you seen a shifting market?
Not yet. I can feel it though.
You can feel it though.
It's different from when I got in, for sure.
You haven't seen a big shift, but you have seen 3 other shifts. We're in it right now, every October, November, December. The market does shift.
I noticed that when I listed my own house, I was panicking.
Yeah. The market shifts every year. Every year. And if you use these tactics every year, you'll come out of each shift stronger. The seasonal shift is real, and the seasonal shift really is an opportunity. Most of the time when we're talking about shifts, though, we talk about big, long-term economic ones. We've been doing good business for a while, and every winter it goes like this, and every springtime it's like, okay, is this thing going to get fired back up again or not? And it does, and you're like, oh good, it did. So there will come a time when it won't fire up again after winter.
How many shifts have you gone through? Big ones?
Big ones? 1.
The worst one.
The worst one, 2008. Yeah. Otherwise, they've all been little shifts. I've gone through 15 little shifts, and that's a thing.
Affect your business.
They
affect
do.
your bottom line.
Yeah, if you let them. If you let them. Oh man. How much do you want me to go by these slides, and how much do you want me to go by what's in this book?
How much do you want to go?
Well, I'd love to share things with you.
What answer do you want us to
I
give you?
think let's more mastermind shift and use this,
As a guide.
Tell us
As a guide.
you think is more important
Yeah,
Let's talk about
we're
it.
going to launch the full shift series
I just
here.
say, like, do like a shot kind of approach. I mean, just
Yeah, so I'm going to stick to this for the most part, but if you don't mind, I'm going to veer off. But I'm not going to veer off away from this and the topic.
Okay.
Cool? Okay, so when a shift happens, it's a perfect opportunity to gain market share. Because everybody who was sitting down, waiting, and watching, when it does bluff, they're like, and you pounce and you take the business. And you come out of the shift stronger with more business than you went into it and more market share. That is real. That shift that happened in 2008 was big. It rocked the world. And it's all, in this room, it's our really only memory of a recession. There's people out there, your grandma. How long she had a license?
28, she took about a 6 or 7 year break.
28 years, 92. She got her license right during a shift, during a recession. 92 was a recession. There was a recession in 98. There was a recession in 2008. There was a recession in 83. There's been tons of recessions, tons of them. A recession is 2 consecutive quarters of GDP shrinkage, of the GDP not growing.
What's GDP?
Gross domestic product. The amount of goods and services that we sell in the United States.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what a recession is. A recession is not what 2008 was.
Right.
2008,
That was a crash. Yeah.
yeah, that was a crash. And in 2008, there were 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Then there was 1 quarter of like 0.5% growth. And then there was another quarter following that of negative GDP growth. There were really 4 bad quarters in a row. And had it not been for all of the stimulus programs that they pumped into it to get that little 0.5% growth, it would have been a depression. Okay? So when we're talking about a recession coming, it doesn't have to be like that other recession. It's just 6 months of negative growth. Home prices can, I'm not saying they will, home prices can go up during a recession if there is still enough supply, enough demand and not enough supply. Home prices will go up during a recession. People will still buy and sell houses during a recession. It still happens. Study your market. Okay, see, this is shift stuff, but it's true any time of the year, in any market. Be more knowledgeable than the headlines. Research the local conditions and trends that will affect them. Okay, NAR says that America will have 4% appreciation in home prices in 2020. That's probably true. 4%.
Can you repeat that?
Yep. NAR says we will have 4% appreciation in home prices in 2020. Go ahead, Ian.
That's the normal.
Is there a place that you can go look at like NAR's quarterly reports?
Yes, there is.
Sweet.
There is.
And it's just, I don't know.
I'll make a note. I'll make a note to post that.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
where do we pull these? Where do you get these statistics? Is that what you're asking? For
Well,
NARD's different. For our own, obviously, you go back through there's ways to find out statistics year over year.
This is so not.
A lot of times
I'll show you where I get this from too. Vision.
You can do your own research. There's ways within our MLS that you can do that.
So yeah, and so this is a point. It's not coming up easy.
Also, like Fidelity and all the title companies present a report every quarter about how our market's doing.
They do. They do. What the national market is doing might be different than what the state market is doing, and our local market might be totally different. There are different things that happen in pockets in our markets too, though, where,
Each neighborhood.
yeah, yes, each neighborhood has its own thing. And that's where this point of being an expert. The local headlines, the Daily Sentinel posts may be true for the Grand Valley, but they may not be true for the subdivision that you're a specialist in. So know the difference. Preview more properties then to get a better understanding of what is on the market. Again, these are all good practices, but they become even more essential when it gets harder to sell a house. You really need to know what your competition is and what it's up to. And the only way you can know that is by previewing. Take time to study and internalize the statistics that are reflective of your market and which matter for your sellers. We're going to talk about what those are. Or is this the place where we do? This might be the place where we do. Yeah. So, page 14. Yeah, here we are. Amanda, you can download this. I didn't make you a copy because you didn't register for the class.
I had to change one.
The dangerous one, the fate. So,
I have a question
yeah.
about like the statistics and stuff. So I've been using Paragon just to like pull numbers and stuff like that. Is there just a place where I can geek out and look
Yeah.
at all the things?
There is, now remember I don't use this one as much, so I'm not as, that's my disclaimer.
No, Amanda can show you too. She's shown me how to do it, but yes, through all those things, the market statistics, the year to year, you can do all
got
those
it. How
things
do you
right
get
there
to
on that
that?
side. It was in the, right there, the resources statistical reporting, right?
Okay.
If you click into that, that'll give you a bunch of different options.
No, that's exactly what I wanted to
Yeah.
know about.
Lets you geek out.
The only thing is that sometimes it's a little funny to play, you kind of have to play with it sometimes, and then once you do, it's like, okay, boom, that's what you
It'll
got.
click. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, and you can usually, I haven't done it on these, save your own reports
Okay.
Right.
so that it's quick and easy to run it again.
And they actually make them nice so that you can even put them in a newsletter or something if you wanted to, so.
Okay.
Looks like I'm under my own reports here. Inventory and sales, market, price comparison, MLS statistics. Go play with those. I use these a lot up where I actually do business. We have a different system though. So in this we have here's the numbers you should know. Average days on market. And remember, those are different for different price ranges.
So true.
New listings per week and month, total active listings, total pending, total closed, total expired. I would add to that inventory. And we're going to get to that later on. Well, we may. It's 10:26. I'm going to skip ahead to the inventory slide.
What did you say to add to that list?
Inventory. So here's two other. Ow.
As far as inventory, you talking about like absorption rate and
Yeah. Yeah, there's activity rate, inventory rate. And I found one on our MLS yesterday because we're starting to use showing time a great deal that showed average number of showings to pending.
really,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
That was a really cool number. And
I bet it's higher than you'd expect, huh?
what do you think it would have been?
12,
No.
12 to 15.
No, our high was 10.
Really?
Which is that's a statistic for NAR.
And our low was 6.
That's the statistics for NAR though, if you're priced right.
Yep. Now, where do you think the low was and where do you think the high was?
Well, the high was probably like 350, 400 plus.
I mean, time of the year.
Oh, I mean winter, summer.
Yeah, which do you think was low? Which do you think was high?
Probably winter was low because there's less to look at.
Winter was low. There's less to look at. And those who are shopping in the winter,
Are more serious.
Serious.
they're buying.
Yeah.
They're buying a house. They're not like, you know what we should do? I think it's time this summer to buy a house. No, they're moving. Winter buyers are the best because they're buying a house. So inventory. Let's talk about activity index. And these are numbers to use with people. The number of actives plus the number of pendings divided by the number of pendings.
And why is this?
Yep.
This is important.
How do you
This is so
explain
good.
this to
This is
them?
called the absorption rate.
Well, the absorption rate is that is.
I thought that was different.
This is the absorption rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the activity rate. All right. Let's do this. Going up. Oh man, that's still got all my stuff on there from the orientation. You can do this.
Sorry, this one, yeah, I think so.
You can do this manually. You can find these reports in there. You can look at these numbers real quick. Let's see. All right, let's do activity index. All right, let's say.
Do you mind using the black one?
I was gonna
No,
say
not
use
at
a
all.
darker one.
Not at all.
Or that red one, maybe.
Yeah, oh, that pink one. That pink one was good. This magenta. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Right.
I love them.
No,
That's
Dad, that's
so
vermilion. That's what I get for my kids. Okay. Activity index. All right, let's say that there are, do we want to, it doesn't matter. This is all hypothetical. Okay, so in the price range that we're in, 200 to 400 or whatever, there are active properties.
So you don't do this on all active properties, you do this on the price range.
You can do it any way you want. You could do it on a subdivision, you could do it on townhomes, you could do it on the valley, you could do it on Fruta, on anything you want. That's why I don't need to get too crazy on this, because it applies to everything, what the activity is. So let's say you have 25 actives, and the pending, let's say there are 10 pending. So then 25 plus 10, here, I'll write the formula here again. I'm going to write the formula underneath. Active plus pending divided by pending equals activity
Which is not the absorption rate, so yes, it is.
index. Yeah. So 25 plus 10 divided by 10. This is 35 over 10, which equals 3.5. Okay.
And that tells you what, like over a period of time?
It's an index. Nope, it's an index. So let's do this other scenario that
Why
has,
would you use this number?
well, it's good for comparisons. Good for comparisons. Let's say let's say that is the luxury market, or the market you're looking at, and you're also looking at the valley as a whole. And the valley has 840 properties active. And pending, it has 150. So then you do 840 plus 150 divided by 150. And that is 990 divided by 150.
6.6.
Thank you.
So is that a percentage? What, like, how would you,
0.6.
like, talk about that number to your
So you're
clients?
saying as the Well,
There's more activity.
more activity in
yeah.
Oh, got
your,
it.
So like in
Okay.
that's like there's less activity in that specific market, there's more activity in the overall
Got it.
larger Grand Valley
Okay.
market.
Let me do another extreme example here where,
6.6 means that overall more is happening
Is
around
that
Grand
for
Valley.
city? That's a-
Yeah.
let's do a more extreme,
I see. Okay.
more extreme here. Let's say you've got active, there are 15. This actually would be what we've been seeing in Glenwood this whole freaking summer. It's been frustrating. I mean, it is and it isn't. So you have 15 plus 20 divided by 20. You get 35 divided by 20. What is that?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was thinking about what you were doing. 35 divided by 20. 1.75. So that's saying that 1.75 is being sold on average after whatever your other.
There's a lot of activity.
That means there's a lot of activity.
A lot of activity.
okay,
But the
can you,
So the lower number means more activity?
More activity.
Okay.
so I'm a customer and you're bringing this to me.
Yeah.
And you're gonna explain what this number means to me, cause I still don't get it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what it means is in the price range where your house probably is, there has been a lot of activity. Or if we're talking about a shift, look, the activity in your price range has just been really low. Really low. Look at what the market overall is doing and look at what activity in your market's doing.
So
Okay?
there's a lot of activity and your house has been on the market for 6 months, but you did.
Which means you have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that number mean? What's the 1.7? Like I get.
Yeah, right? You want to give it
1.7 per.
You want to give it some more meaning than that. It's an index, and an index by definition, the number, doesn't mean anything. The Dow Jones Index, the Dow's up, the Dow's down, that tells us something. But what is the Dow at right now? 15,000? What does that tell you? Nothing. It doesn't tell you Ford Motor Company is worth anything. All it tells you is it was here and now it's here. Indexes are only useful as numbers
For the person interpreting them, who knows.
relative to another index, the same index, relative to another point in time, or
Right.
to another market.
Luxury market versus all over the valley.
Yeah. So
So again, this number, like on the low, at the 1.75, you're saying it's more active than the 6.6.
Right.
yeah, look, we've got a lot of things going under contract.
Compared to the active, yeah.
It's 3 times more.
So I
There's
just.
a 6.6 in there.
Rather than showing them active and pending and comparing those, why are we using an index?
Some people like that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand like why you would. That number
Right.
means 0 to me.
Nope. You know what? That's fine.
Is this how you're feeling?
You know,
Yeah, I don't.
this would mean a lot to me.
This would mean a lot to somebody who's
Yeah.
a IFC.
We're talking about, you've got to
different
have a message to
personalities.
talk to different people.
Yeah, different tools for different personalities' sake.
It's 1.75% of
No,
what?
it is not a percentage.
Okay.
It's an index.
We kept saying that this is a percent and.
No, but the
and
percentage
I
is
thought
the
you were
absorption rate.
confirming.
Oh, no,
No.
Okay.
No, that's not how you get a percentage.
No. It's like if you ever look at Fidelity's little telling us, they do theirs via index as well on their little, we're in a seller's market, buyer's market, it's an index that they look at also.
Yeah.
What's a even market? What would that number look like?
A balanced.
A balanced market? What would that
Like a
number?
scale from 1 to 10?
No, because
What's the
it
index?
Yeah.
because it can go infinite. Okay.
Shouldn't the index
It
have
It
like
could
a
go.
range?
It could go infinite. Here's an example. Active. Let's say active. There are 2,000 listings, and pending. There is 1. Bad, right?
Right, that's a serious.
Bad.
market.
So 2,000 plus 1 over 1 is 2,001 is 2,001.
Right,
Bad index.
yeah, super high.
Bad number. Bad number.
But that's not the same as a buyer's market and the absorption rate. The absorption
Well, let's
rate-
look at absorption rate.
Yeah, that's a different.
let's look at that
Yeah,
now.
that's actually percentage, and that will be,
And if that doesn't speak to you, the index, you're probably better off not saying it.
No, well, I mean, I just
Yeah.
wanna understand, so
Yeah.
what you're taking is the total number of listings that are on the market that haven't closed, so we're including everything active pending.
Yep.
Divided by the amount of pending, listings, and that's gonna give you an index.
Yes.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
When you're looking at the hot sheet every morning and you're like, you know, well, I guess that doesn't take into account the hot sheet. When you do a search for your comps and you're finding more pendings than actives, it's good for sellers. It means that index is really low.
Yeah.
All right, absorption rate.
this is good for farming.
Okay.
This makes sense because the number means months.
Yeah,
That's what the
but
number
don't, but
means.
but it doesn't.
No, it depends on which way you go. So there's one that means one, and there's one that means the other, and that's the thing. One tells you whether
Yeah.
it's a buyer's market or seller's
Yes.
market. The other does tell you months.
It does have, so I'll get into that, why that is not something to think about though. All right, let's use easy numbers. Let's say there are 100 houses active. And in September, we had 20 sale. Okay? The math here is active versus sold inventory.
This
So
was in the last 30 days. Is that into account here?
I will. Hang on.
Okay.
It's about units. So if we have 100 sold in the past month. No, I'm sorry, my bad. We have 100 on the market and 20 sold last month. We wind up with 5 months of inventory. Okay, what that means is if no new houses came on the market and we kept selling houses at the same rate as we did last month, it would take 5 months to sell all of the houses. It doesn't take into account new listings that are going to come on the market because it is not a prediction that a house listed today will take 5 months to sell.
Correct.
It is basically an index, again. Okay? It is only, well, it is a little more useful because we have put labels on.
Right.
You asked about month. Let's say we have 100 houses on the market. And last quarter, there were 50 houses that sold in the quarter. If you wanted to do quarter, that also means that we have 100 divided by 50. We have 2 quarters worth of inventory. We don't talk like this. We can, but we don't. Just because we think in months, the industry does, and so that's what we use. Here's the definitions. We are way off the slideshow, but no, we're not. We're not that far off of it. We're going deeper into stuff. Now, is this good? Is this what you guys signed up for? Yeah?
Okay, sign up, Travis.
Get out.
Me neither.
All right.
Sign up now.
Less than 6 months. Of inventory. is a seller's market. More than. You guys like the greater than, less than inequality symbols? You got a math teacher standing up
So you were a math teacher, Travis?
there. I've tutored math, and the school my kids go to roped me into teaching 4 hours a week. But what's the problem with what I wrote up there? What's the problem with this? There is a problem with this.
Well, what do you, you're asking a tricky question. So for me, it's 6 months of inventory for sellers in maybe a neighborhood or in
Yeah.
a subdivision. It's not Grand Junction specific. It's not at all.
There's something that goes in between here.
Would you narrow it down to like a price range?
What goes in between here?
The shift?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, Kinsey, you're right. You're right.
Balance.
I'm always right.
Holla!
No, you're right. Because in between a buyer and a seller's market, there is a balanced market. But the way I've written this, what is in between less than 6 months and what is in between more than 6 months?
Right.
Well, technically speaking,
3 to 4.
on a number line,
Right.
and we have 6 here, this is how you illustrate less than 6. And this is how you illustrate more than 6. And the only thing left is 6.
Right.
So 6 months. The reason we talk about it in this infinitesimally small, 6.01, more than 6.
Right.
We're not going from a zero.
5.99, less than 6. A balanced market is this infinitesimally small moment in time. It happens, but just for a very brief moment, in that if we're looking at a graph like this, and this is 6 months, and this is 9 months, and this is 3 months, and we're in a seller's market, and it just keeps doing like this, but then it goes like that, right? There is a point where you're in that 6 range. Just like if you throw a ball up in the air, if you throw a ball up, there is a point where that ball is neither falling nor rising.
Isn't there a word for that?
What's that?
Just where that point.
I don't know. There might be.
That's what it's called.
It probably is.
I thought climax meant it had to come down though.
Well, yeah, I mean, the gravity's in play here.
Because that's peak though, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the hard part too, is there is a moment where things shift and people don't realize it. People's perceptions sometimes trail, and it depends on who they are. If you are a seller, your perception of that shift usually trails.
So that's what I want to know, is
That's
how do
called
you
denial.
talk-
Yes, it
It's
is.
denial.
How do you talk to your sellers about
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
Well,
Without
like,
being offensive?
say, hey, look at all these prices are dropping.
Okay,
You're
what if you
choosing to
show
stay
them that
home.
and they're unreasonable?
Then that's how they are, and they experience the pain of it. I mean, honestly, you
There is
can
no
only,
reasoning with an unreasonable.
there are times where it just doesn't matter what you say.
The things you say are in this book.
Right.
So is it bad to have an overpriced listing in a
Yes.
shifting
Yes.
market?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Always
You're
bad to
chasing
have
the
a
market,
market.
you're
Yes.
chasing the buyers
All right.
at that point, rather than them chasing.
Let me finish this up and then we'll do that. Then we'll go straight to that. Okay? So, I mean, really, we're done. I guess there's not much more to say here. There really isn't, actually, now that I look
So
at
answer
this.
her question.
Yeah, all right. So let me answer your question. Let me see. Do we have it in here? How is that not in this presentation? How is
I
that?
think it is, I mean, it's somewhere.
Well, not the graph that I'm talking about. Let's look in here. It should be. We are looking for a graph. It's in the book. I'm going to have to draw my own graph. Huh. It's in section 7 of the book. All right, I'll draw it. I'll draw it. There's a lot of lines to it.
You just take your book down to the store and have them do the spiral bound.
No, it's a instructor's copy you can buy. It's nice to have that for just, you know, like what I'm doing here. Okay. We have this graphic. We have a graphic similar to this in our old listing presentation, not in the new command one. Probably ought to get it in the new command one. Let's talk about this house that we're talking about. All right, so got a graph. This is time. This is dollars. This right here, let's say we're in a flat market. This right here is, no, let's say we're in the shift, because we're talking about the shift. That is what the home value is. What do they call it? Fair market value. They call it the fair market value. I'm going to call it that too. You can learn to draw this just right there on a piece of paper. Okay, fair market value. Now, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we talked about this earlier, that in that first week or two, when we come out on the market, we're at this brand new shiny house, and the buyers that are in the market see us, and we get this rush of showings. First 2 weeks, that's when most people will see us. Everybody who's been in the market. After 2 weeks, we got some stragglers coming in, and then week 4, 5, or 6, the people who see us are people who are new buyers, new to the market. So we're not going to have as much attention come from them. So let's say that this line represents that interest. Okay, first day or two, you know, people are catching up. We're going to have a peak early on, and then our interest in our property will start to fall off. Now, here's what I don't want to have happen for you, because I've seen it happen for people. Can I use different colors?
Did I use different colors?
Can I please? What colors do I have? I got blue, black. I'm going to keep using this color for now. Now let's say we price it here. Let's say we price it high, like you want to, because you're right. You can't raise your price. The market doesn't like that. You can't lower your price, but you can never raise your price. The market hates that. So let's say we do your strategy here, and we start up here, and we see what all that interest brings us. But this interest, you know, doesn't like us because they see us as high. So we do a price drop. And we drop to there. And we drop to here, to the price I'm saying that we should be at. But because of what's happening in this market right now, that price is no longer what the market value of your home is. It's the price today, but it's not going to be the price in a month or 3 weeks or whatever, you know. And we do what I say. You agree to my price, but it's too high still. And then we do another drop. This time we don't do as big of a drop. We do a little drop because you're hurting. You're hurting. You're starting to realize, you were at 300. And your brain started to get 300 as what you were going to get. And then you drop down here where I told you to 280. And then you, after me showing you more information, you drop to 290. You don't drop to 290.
I was like, wow.
What? Magic numbers. You drop to 270. And we try that for a while. We try that for a while. And then, because we have a 6-month agreement, you finally agree, we try that, but you're hurting so bad. You are hurting so bad. You agree to 265.
That's not a good experience.
This is not a good experience for you. It's not a good experience for me. Here's what happens. I don't want this to happen for me or you, because here's 6 months. And guess what happens? You say, Travis, you didn't get my house sold. I don't want that to happen for you. You say, Travis, you didn't get my house sold. And you finally you go list with someone else because you think it was me. And you list it. And now you've learned your lesson. You listed for 250 because that is where the market is. Because of me, because I wasn't able to convince you here today. You lost 30 grand. I don't want that to happen for you. I want you to come out strong at 280.
What do you suggest, this might be off topic and maybe something for another day, but if you're recommending a price drop, do you go through this whole thing, or like what's your
You
best
can't.
op-
I think every time you go for a price drop, you're coming in with a new CMA.
Okay.
I did that, and I only had them, they agreed to come down 1,000.
Yeah, well, they were awful people.
You better hope we're not on your real.
I know, right? No, no, those.
Hey, we've got to make this interesting enough to buyers.
Yeah.
$1,000 isn't, you got to do it in $5,000 increments, because you're not actually going to put, that $1,000 doesn't put new buyers
Yeah.
in the category to see it. Everybody else that's at the 280 mark has seen that house, and they've said no.
Yeah.
Drop it to 275, you've got new buyers now that are seeing the house for the first time.
Yes, she's right. This is a different market here than this market. And all the people that were looking at this were looking at it, comparing it to other houses that were in that price range.
And it shows your motivation.
And they gave it a label. That house is overpriced. That's the label. They'll never see it through fresh eyes. The realtor may be like, look, it's 30,000 less. Yeah, we saw that one. So don't chase the market. We need to be ahead of the market. We need to be ahead of it. We really ought to price it right here at 278.
Okay. Because you might get a bid.
Because we're undervalued. Sweet. And that's how we're going to be seen. Okay, that is where we need to stop.
So how do you counteract a seller saying, but wait, you're telling me it's worth this, but we're pricing it under this?
Mm-hmm.
So how is that ahead of the market, except for that you've already shown them, hey, and I'm talking like initial
Yeah.
consultation.
Here's what I would say. Look, I can show you all the fancy math you want, but really, the buyer's going to decide what the house is
Which
worth.
is what I usually say.
It might actually be worth 273. It might actually be worth 282. Sorry, I can't tell you exactly because your house is not exactly like any other house. And you can test the market if you want, but don't chase it. All right.